It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce and Michael. I know a ghost story or two. Let's do this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And our super producer,
Riley Bray.
And you know what, guys? If you're watching this over on the Patreon, you can see we've got an amazing guest. I'm going to bring him right in so he's not just sitting there doing nothing on camera. Guys, let's give our returning guest a warm Club Scout salute. He is an actor. He's a podcaster. He's a comedic performer. From Action Boys and High and Mighty, it's Jon Gabrus.
Oh. Hi, boys.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so excited to collect.
Does anyone yeah. Does anyone call you Johnny? Do you ever get called Johnny?
My grandma called me Johnny, and my dad, whose name was John, called me Johnny as well. And he would always, Johnny, did you clean your robe? He sounded kind of like Trump with a cold.
Johnny. Was it I-E? Was it Jonnie?
I don't know. That's a good question. I never really wrote it out but I would assume
Right.
I probably would have put Jonny.
Yeah.
I do remember. You just reminded me of. I wrote gonna Gonna as a word in like an English essay in like fourth grade, like a bunch of times. And if that's like not the most like long, like the Long Island teachers are like, okay, well we have to nip this in the bud right now. It's going to. I was like, I truly didn't know that.
That's amazing. I still write like in like business emails, like Gonna, like I'm gonna do this. Let me do that, and I'll be LEMME. I'm like, I should be doing none of these things. I'm a 42-year-old man. I should like actually spell words.
Us older millennials are brain broken by instant messenger, just as the young millennials are brain broken by emojis. We're so easy. It's so easy just to type fast, and it's like just respond fast. Who cares how well it's spelled, and spell check will catch it or it won't. And then I think the younger generation is just like, they're firing off. I don't know shit about the younger generation. I'm just gonna back off even pretending.
There was a Superman comic by Grant Morrison called All-Star Superman, and he goes to the future where in the future humans are only speaking like in shorthand text messaging. Like they're like IRL. They're like dropping out vowels. They're like humanity is like evolved to just speak in that shorthand. It's like
just all wildly long acronyms that have to be explained, and then people memorize them and stuff. That shit's awesome.
Speaking of the internet, you little internet trolls, you do us a favor. Go to Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. If you do, we might read it on the air, like this one, which really brought a smile to my heart. It says, "Greetings from Alabama" by Hua84. Hey guys, just wanted to tell y'all how much I love the show. I'm a mailman here in South Alabama, and I listen while working my route. The looks I get from people who hear you guys over my Bluetooth speaker are downright hilarious. Keep up the great work, and never forget, nothing is impossible. Take care, guys. 5 stars.
Love it. Hoo-ah.
Yeah.
Hoo-ah.
I love
That's
to think
amazing.
of us being listened to in a mail truck. That's so cool.
Yeah,
We're
that's
doing our
great,
part, you know?
We're doing our part to alienate the customers of the mail.
That's all you can really ask for. Yeah.
I mean, this is what a breath of fresh air if your mailman pulls up and you overhear like, so the Mothman is actually the one behind this.
Oh
You're
my
like,
God.
whoa, that'd be so sick. We have
Just
a mailman.
Bryce.
We have a
Bryce
local
convincing
FedEx
someone
guy.
that Skunk Ape lives.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I'm sorry. we have a FedEx guy who cranks classic rock nonstop, and he those FedEx things don't have doors on them. They just like stop and jump out, So like every once in a while, it's like someone dropping a boombox off on the street that's playing like Creedence Clearwater Revival or something.
That's amazing.
And it kind of rocks, yeah.
This is why I feel like in cars, people. Well, at least I've switched over to I've switched over to podcasts because, I mean, even if you're like into a rock genre like classic rock, it's like once you've heard the radio's catalog, it's just on repeat. So there's really nothing new you can get out of it. I don't know. At least that's for me. Why I stopped listening to a lot of music a long time ago.
This is our new segment. Old Man Yells at Radio.
And so that radio, it plays that same song over and over, and I know that song.
I just like the talk stations,
I gave up music. I only listen to leadership audiobooks.
Oh my God, that could drive you just as mad.
I'm trying to learn how to get my children to listen to me.
I just want the respect of my children. God. Is that too much?
Gabrus, you had, we're recording this the day after 420. You had a 420 special last night. Thank you for being here and agreeing to appear on camera. For those of you who are our Patreon listeners, you can be watching this episode right now. You look remarkably good.
Lucky Patreon listeners. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Look at these four white, pale, doughy man faces.
There's no weed hangover. There's no weed hangover. You're
I feel
fine.
Fucking great. I will say, I think I had because I did consume more than I have consumed in this quarantine, and my tolerance is skyrocketing throughout the quarantine.
Oh, my God.
But last night I did a lot, and I woke up this morning, and I had big plans to ride the Peloton and all that other L.A. bullshit, and it just never came around to happening. As a matter of fact, Munchies kicked in, before we started recording, and I was like, babe, I'm going to order a shit ton of food to arrive at this time. She was like, okay. I was like, yes. I'm like on a delay. I'm like on the Sunday after a bachelor party where you're like, all right, it's all caught up. I need everything I can get.
I've never told this story, but I'm going to tell it now about how I met my weed dealer at Club Bryce. So it was 420. It was 420, and me and my good friend Johnny, our girls had come down from my wife came down from Canada, and we were all big smokers at the time. So when I got back to the apartment, there was green balloons everywhere. I mean, they rented a fucking helium tank, and they had a weed ball. They had a fucking where they just rolled weed into a ball, and it was we were just, and so we knew this guy right next door. I'm sure probably a lot of people might know him, but anyway, we were like, I think that guy deals weed. And then so they left a fucking green balloon, and it had a cutout weed leaf at the bottom at his doorstep. A few minutes later, knock, knock, knock. He's like, brought over a bowl, 420. You guys want to smoke it? And then that started a fucking beautiful relationship with our next door weed dealer. All I had to do was literally walk 5 steps, knock, 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 and grab a bag. But
what I don't understand is you threw a 420 party without any weed?
No, we had plenty of weed. We had our own weed. Yeah, we had a fucking weed ball.
I was confused.
But no, we knew this guy. We knew this guy was also a big stoner, so we left him a green balloon at his doorstep, knocked, and then walked away.
Yeah, it's like the weed bat signal.
Yeah, it's the weed bat signal. Yeah.
Out to him. Yeah.
Welcome to weed ball tryouts. I'm your coach. I got in a drunk driving accident, and I've been forced to coach you. Group of ragtag weed ball players.
All the way to the championship.
This is the night we're going to get so high we'll never be able to listen to the radio again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, what a way to kill a bit! What a way to just step on a
smash
bit.
it into the ground.
This is like the fucking I had a commercial audition where I had to improvise with somebody on Zoom, and it was this, and it was just you go first. My agent was like, "How'd it go?" I was like, "Did not get it. Definitely did not get that one." I will say,
Zoom commercial auditions have one thing in their favor, is that when they're like, it's going to be about 30 minutes, you're like, okay, mute. shut camera off, eat meatball sub, or turn on PlayStation. Like it's so like rather than being like, I guess I'm driving to Santa Monica at 3:30 on a Friday to say, well, when I put my foot in a bag, it better be a JanSport or whatever, and it's like this shit doesn't work at all. And I'm like, 6-hour travel day, and then instead it's like doing it at home. I'm like smoking a joint off camera, just being like, okay, yeah, hi, I'm the guy. No, I didn't get it. No shit, I didn't. I never do. At least I didn't have to leave my fucking house.
I like that you're auditioning for a
Seriously.
foot fetishist who puts his feet in like teenage girls' backpacks.
Yeah, that's progressive
non-union.
advertising.
It's non-union, but it pays very well. And I've never even seen it. I don't know where it runs.
Yeah.
I keep getting stopped at shoe stores and stuff. People recognize my feet, but I don't know what that means anymore.
I didn't get high. I had no weed last night, but I watched all 3 parts of the new Sasquatch documentary on Hulu.
Oh
Same
wow,
difference.
you crushed through it, huh?
I went right through it. And at one point, I was like, I need to go get some weed. I haven't smoked in months, and there's like a shop just around the corner from me. So I got in the car. I drove around. They were 5 minutes till closing, and of course it's 4:20. There's a line still all the way down the block, and I was like, all right, fuck this. I'm not doing this.
Fuck it. I'm
Oh
going
wow,
another 3
you
episodes.
attempted it then.
I did. I did a drive by, and there was nothing. I was like,
Dude.
what idiot waits until like 10 o'clock on 420 to like
Yeah.
what lame
Yeah.
single divorced father is like, you know
My
what?
son wanted weed for 420. What day is it? Last year I got him fireworks on July 5th, and he never spoke to me.
Fortunately,
Yeah.
his tolerance is high in quarantine, and he won't get the munchies until Friday. So I got
My
time.
God.
Got to get the tater tots in the oven now.
Yeah, there was that. There was that one scene where that dude was just pulled that weed nugget out of the jar and started rolling it up, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm on the wagon." And whenever I see something like a real character, and then just who makes a character out of like a drug or alcohol, it just makes me salivate. Like when a guy's in like a lonely bar with a glass of scotch, I'm just like, "Oh God, oh God."
Yeah,
That
you're
looks
like-
so romantic.
I used to not be able to watch HBO's High Maintenance without blazing, and I would have to, like, back in the day, pre-quarantine, I wouldn't smoke weed on Monday through Wednesday. So I'd be
Right.
like, I can't watch High Maintenance until Thursday, or if I don't watch it that Sunday night. It was very hard
Yeah.
on me.
That's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
system.
Sasquatch is like, come for Bigfoot, stay for like the dark cannabis
weed
industry
porn.
that's happening in like Humboldt
Oh,
and
shit.
Mendocino County.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Murder
hard.
Mountain.
Hardcore, dude. But I still recommend it. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out. Because it's, there's some good Bob Gimlin's in it. You got some good Bigfoot stuff in there, and I think they do a good job of like laying down the mythology for the people who are watching this and be like, oh, really? So they do kind of a good job with that. But it's definitely more of a true crime cannabis story than it is a Bigfoot story. But check it out. All right, guys, we got Gabrus here. We're going to get into some listener files. But before we do that, Riley, I've brought in some...
I don't know exactly how we do this with video, but
Hum it for us, baby. BCC knows.
nailed it. That was perfect, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I said C like 3 times. So I don't know if you guys saw this, listening at home or watching this, but this story caught my attention this week. And if you're listening next week, it's probably a little bit of yesterday's news, but we have to discuss this. A Florida woman says a baby dinosaur was caught on surveillance video running through her yard. Now, if you're listening to this, I'm going to put up a link to the YouTube video in the show notes, so you'll be able to check this out for yourself. But this is in Palm Coast, Florida. I'm getting this from WYFF, Channel 4 News, NBC affiliate. Palm Coast, Florida. Is Jurassic Park closer to reality than we think? A Florida woman might have proof of that. Christina Ryan told WOFL TV that she caught a glimpse of a baby dinosaur running through her yard on a home security camera. Now, maybe I've watched Jurassic Park too many times, but I see a raptor or some other small dinosaur, she told the TV station. People who have seen the video have various theories about what the animal may be. Perhaps a bird, a lizard, or a dog dragging a leash. It's more likely than that whatever it is will remain a mystery. I've sent this video to you guys. I get what she's seeing, but I don't know. Gabrus, has life found a way?
I don't know if the dinosaur jizz frozen in amber was able to be thawed in time to make this little critter. It really, it's very hard to tell what I'm looking at in the video. And also, does the audio seem fake? Does the audio seem like added in post?
Maybe I turned it down. Do you hear like Jeff Goldblum being like, now that's a big pile of shit?
You literally, it goes like, as it runs by, and it feels like, what's the Ring camera's microphone pickup and like the but so it felt like someone was trying to zhuzh it in the direction of Dinosaur, but I also it was, and everyone's like, it's probably just like a crazy wild bird. It's like, okay, that's also really fucking cool and crazy. So like that's a
I think that is
video.
a dinosaur. I think a wild crazy bird is basically a dinosaur. 100%. I mean, it's a grainy video. It's running away from the camera. It's really fast. It does look like it has a tail like a dinosaur, and it looks like it's running on two legs. Of course, like I think I read that Universal Studios Orlando got really cheeky, and they're like, "Oh boy, one of our dinosaurs is on the loose." You know, they're like jumping it. They like retweeted it.
Boy, one of our dinosaurs on the loose, but don't worry, he had a negative COVID test before entering the park, so everything should be okay.
Get your tickets now.
We're in the Jurassic bubble. It should be fine. Bryce, I don't know. You're into these videos. What do you think? What was your thought?
Well, look, it looked strange and out of place. This is definitely the time of high strangeness, right? And in the age of people with their Ring cameras and their security cameras running on a 24-hour feed, I mean, why shouldn't we be capturing more of these cryptid creatures or these creatures from the underworld, if in fact they do exist? I don't know.
The dinosaur from hell.
Yeah, I mean, have you guys ever heard of the Fresno night walkers? And
oh yeah.
And then there was that one video of that like Dobby-like creature that looks kind of like a puppet. It was, you know what? Everybody was pretty skeptical about that video, but there was a news station that went to that lady's house and interviewed her and her son. You know,
Gabriel, see if you can Google Dobby walks down driveway. It's another Ring video.
I know that one.
Know
that
kind
you're
of
talking
greenish.
about.
Yeah.
I think it's the kid. I think it's the kid with like a pair of underwear on his head.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
running
the journalist.
down the driveway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is that same kid.
Get this
playing
underwear off
Dinosaur.
that kid's head, for fuck's sake.
This kid keeps getting underwear on his head.
You know, there's also like, you know, when like a raccoon gets like a fucking milk jug stuck on its head, it could be something weird like that, you know?
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not more like Ring pranking of just like dress up like a Bigfoot and just walk up to somebody's front door.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well,
somebody's. I think both of you guys know where Bryce lives, and that might be.
Yeah, you have a Ring, right, Bryce?
yeah, right? Yeah.
You might activate some of the forget listener stories.
We're like, we have a really slow week. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna scare the shit out of Bryce.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. We're gonna dig into the listener files. If you have a paranormal story you want to share with us, you saw some weird lights, you saw a baby dinosaur, you looked through Bryce's windows, write to us at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com, like these fine listeners, and we'll read your stories. Bryce, why don't you kick us off tonight? Yeah. Give us the title of the email and then dive in.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I want to snuggle up to the old mic here. Abduction or paralysis? Hey, Bigfoot boys. I love the show, and I've been a devoted listener since Michael and Bryce were guests on Ask Eliza Anything. I want to preface my story with a little info. On several occasions, I have had small premonitions in my dreams of things that happened the next day. Usually, just a minute or two of a conversation I'm having, a visual of walking into a room and seeing items arranged in a certain way, or specific background noises. Since I noticed this happening, it has made me more anxious and attentive when I have strange but realistic dreams. 2 nights ago, I dreamed the following. I received a notification on my phone that I was excited about and was realistic enough that I thought it was reality. I was in a friend's old high school cafeteria as their guest at a reunion. It was brightly lit and I was seated at a table with about 4 other people. I excused myself to go to the restroom nearby. As I opened the door to the restroom, it suddenly became a long, dark hallway. All chatter from the room behind me was instantly cut off, and I could see the restroom door was now at the end of this silent hall. As I still needed to go, I began walking towards the door. This is not something I would normally do. I'm kind of a coward and scared of the dark. Nearing the middle of the hall, it seemed to stretch in both directions, pulling both doors further from me. My vision began to blur and I felt dizzy. I could feel myself falling in slow motion, but I never hit the ground. I tried to focus and felt that my body was at a 60-degree angle and was spinning in a slow circle. I blinked to try and clear my vision so I could catch myself. When I could see again, I could see that I was now at a 30-degree angle, at least 5 feet off the ground and rising.
I can't believe he's able to do all this math in the middle of...
Panic set in as I realized this had to be more than my mind playing tricks on me. I heard a whisper, "Holly, are you okay?" I snapped awake in my bed with my boyfriend right next to me. He told me I had been sleeping peacefully but suddenly began hyperventilating. I know it doesn't seem like much, but I can't help but think of alien abduction stories where the abductees seem to be pulled from their bodies. Let me know what you guys think. I always love hearing your take on these things. Wishing you all the best, Holly. Wow.
Shit, dude.
That's
Gabrus.
pretty interesting.
What do you think? Were they abducted, or was it a case of sleep paralysis?
Oof. I don't know. You know me.
You're muted.
You're muted, my man. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I farted during the story, and so you guys didn't hear it, but maybe if Riley ends up using my my Zoom mic, might have
There's a
picked
little
it up.
Easter egg there.
Yeah,
Nice.
like
Bryce-
quite literally.
Bryce did that to me a couple weeks ago. It was enjoyable.
But you know me, I always come at this from the approach of like, I'm like so a believer in the power of the mind that like I need like close encounters of the zeroth kind. No, I think anything's possible once you're asleep. The brain is just so fucking crazy, and like retro like memories can be so. But at the same time, what the fuck? Yeah, or like they got up and their brain blinked in a way that we don't understand yet, or between like anything's possible. But it doesn't feel. Does it feel like a classic like abduction? It doesn't feel like a lot of.
Not
those
to
hits.
me.
Yeah.
No. It's weird. This almost feels like just a really crazy nightmare, or like a sleep paralysis situation where like, do you guys ever have that feeling of like you're dreaming and then something else interrupts the dream and like takes control? Like there's almost like a dream demon that comes in and like throws off the entire thing. It almost feels like there was like some weird interruption there. But it's hard to tell when someone's dreaming. Who the fuck knows? You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And also
guess
the world in between dreaming and not dreaming, once that's kicked off, is that line gets blurry too. Once,
Yeah, you could just be flushed down the astral plane. I do like that symbolically. Holly was stuck between 2 doors, so maybe they were stuck. She was stuck between like 2 worlds. How about that? Like,
Well, I guess the real question here is does she have access to the future through her dreams? And if so, then why not? You know, I mean, listen, we know just about as much as dreaming as we do about the mind or consciousness. We don't know a lot about it. And the implications of some of the things that are capable inside the dream world are pretty astounding. That's why you wake up right before you hit the pavement if you're falling, because if you experienced a real death within your dreams and you stayed in that moment, you could certainly have some type of a stroke or heart palpitation or even a heart attack itself. So, I mean, there's real implications that transfer over from the dream world into our waking state.
Fuck yes.
That was the conceit of a movie I did in college that a buddy of mine directed. Where it's like, if you die in your dream, you die in real life, dude. You're gonna die, so you
That's
don't
Freddy's
die in your
rules
dream.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tron.
Sorry,
You know-
bitch.
So there was this great experiment done at a lucid dreaming conference, and I read about it in Stephen LaBerge's book about lucid dreaming. He was a Stanford researcher who, one of the foremost frontier researchers into lucid dreaming. Anyway, at the conference, it was for lucid dreamers, and they ran this experiment where there was this mysterious box on stage, and the presenter was like, there is an object inside this box. Tonight when you go to dream, I want you to visit this stage in your dream, open this box, and peek as to what is inside this box. Tomorrow we'll meet back here in the same auditorium, and we will all write down what we saw. Well, strangely enough, a high percentage, almost 70% of the people reported what was in those who had successful lucid dreams reported what was actually inside the box. So they were able to visit that box, open it up in their dream world, and see what was really inside the box.
It was Gabrus's fart.
Yeah, I sealed it a generation ago. It was the only way to stop the quickening, McLeod.
That's a good movie. A guy who has to send his farts back in time, so he's never caught.
It's
farting.
the only part of him that can time travel is his farts, and he has to
That's not a good movie.
He tries to fart in Hitler's bunker.
Yeah, he's plotting when and where he's gonna do it.
I got more farts in Hitler's bunker. We're trying everything we got here.
Can the farts wear a costume? No, it's just a vapor. It's just
a fart. It doesn't.
Can
do
it
anything.
talk? Can the fart talk?
No, it's just a fart. It's only one thing it can do is go back in time. What was in the box?
I don't recall.
He didn't have the dream,
I didn't have the dream.
He didn't have the dream power. All right. Well, thanks for your letter, Holly. Gabrus, what do you got there? First letter I sent you over there.
Oh, yeah.
This one has an Action Boys title. That's why I wanted you to read it.
Oh, fuck yeah. You'd be surprised how many emails I got from you guys about this podcast just this evening. Oh, but hold on. Here we go. Oh, dude, yeah, this is the one. This is a tattoo I want to get. The Shadowman Ninja, or Shadowman Ninja, in case it's someone's name. I haven't read
It could be
this yet.
Shadowman.
Hi, I'm Dr. Levi Shadowman, and I'm the Shadowman Ninja. Hey, Mike, Bryce, and Riley, and guest. I recently came over to your podcast after hearing Henry Z, Big Henry Zabrowski from last podcast on the left on it, and fell in love. Great guy, good friend. After much debate, I finally decided to shoot you my most vivid and terrifying paranormal encounter. This takes place when I was a freshman in college at Cal State, Monterey Bay, which was on the former site of Fort Ord in Seaside, California. I happened to score a solo dorm room which only shared a bathroom with my neighbors. Our dorm rooms were actually converted barracks from the former military site. After a long night of studying, I locked my side of the bathroom and got into bed. I must have dozed off for a bit because I awoke with a start and looked towards my front door. What I saw was a shadow standing in the space in between the front door and the bathroom door, in between doors. As my eye adjusted to the darkness, I noticed that the shadow was slightly swaying back and forth. Just as that, though, registered, the shadow moved towards the wall on its right, my forward left, and began to creep along it, almost like a ninja. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Someone had broken into my room and was coming towards me. I quickly came up with a plan. Once the person made it to the end of the wall and bumped into my bike, I kept it in my room for safety. I would grab my bat from underneath my bed and fight back. As I tried to prepare myself, the unexpected happened. The person reached my bike, but instead of knocking it over, it went right through it. My jaw dropped and I pushed myself further into my headboard and pulled my covers up to my chin. The shadow then glided towards my bedpost, reached out to appendages, I guess, and leaned over towards me. I quickly shut my eyes and prayed for it to go away. I then opened my eyes, and to my shock, it was gone. I sprang out of bed and turned on the lights. I checked all my windows and doors, which were all indeed still locked. Not really knowing what to do, I sat back down on my bed. Not more than 2 minutes passed before the sound of shuffling papers started, but I couldn't pinpoint where the noise was coming from. I tried to go back to bed, but it just wasn't going to happen. I decided to spend the rest of the night in our building common area. After that night, I never saw the shadow man in that room again, but pretty often the sounds of shuffling paper would come at the early hours of the morning.
Whoa.
Wait, hold on. This is crazy. I have other terrifying stories, so let me know if I'm welcome to send them. Thanks for doing all you guys do. Respectively. Now, listen to this guy's name. It sounds like almost this person's name. It almost sounds like a fake name that they were trying to combine the host of this podcast name. Bryson J Breedlove. It's got Bryce in it, and it's an alliterative like Mike's, like Michael's.
Yeah.
So it like really
Dude.
jumps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Bryson J Breedlove sounds like if you're like, you guys know Bigfoot Collectors. It's what's the guy's host? Bryson Breedlove or some shit.
We form when all three of us merge together. We form Bryson J Breedlove. That's like our mecca. That's your
Voltron of cryptozoology.
Yeah, that's how
Pretty
we
sweet.
fight kaiju. Is we form Bryson J Breedlove. And this guy was a former firefighter and EMT. He saves lives. He does not fuck around. You know when there's a shadow ninja setting fires, Bryson J Breedlove is going to destroy it.
Damn.
Now, Bryce, what book by some weird author I've never heard of did you read about the Shadowman Ninja? This actually reminds me of Dr. Eli Scuttlebutt's book about the Shadowman Ninja. It's like, wait, no way that's a real one.
You'd be surprised. Like
Shadow Ninjas.
18 lucid dreamers could identify the Shadow Man's ninja's face without ever unmasking it.
Oh man, that shadow stuff is weird, man. It comes up time and time again.
I
don't know
I
what
still
to
think
make of
about
that
Heather
shit.
Ann Campbell's story about that shadow entity behind her and her girlfriend's bedroom door, and then it walked out and pointed at
Reached
them.
out, yeah.
And then she was like,
shit.
and then she was like, I don't believe in ghosts. I was like, what the fuck? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And Heather is one of the most rational-brained human beings I've ever interacted with in my
I
entire
know.
adult life. So, like, if she says something happened, I'm like, that's hard to fight against. Like, I can't imagine. Yeah.
She's so rational. She made a lot of our listeners angry at her.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm very curious about her on this.
I'm like,
that's
how
not
can
real. That's not real, Michael.
Yeah, no,
Why would that
that's
be
not-
real?
That's stupid.
How could you be? Yeah, how could you be mad at her? She's got like one of the best stories I've ever heard.
I
Next
know.
to the Shadow Man Ninja. I mean, look, shadow people. Who the fuck would know? I don't know. Was it? I want to know if it was like sneaking along the wall. Excuse me. Like you know when he says like a ninja. So it's like, or was it like Spider-Man crawling across the wall? I guess that would be a Shadow Man Spider-Man. Shadow Man Spider-Man.
The way I interpreted it was like more human behavior, like when you're trying
Yeah.
to sneak up against a wall,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I think you're
That
right.
shit was crawling on the ceiling. That'd be another fucking story altogether.
Oof. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, Riley, what do you got for us?
Let's have a look here. All right. This is titled Cults and Harry Potter equals High Strangeness. I mean, the math checks out.
Yeah.
Hey, Bigfoot Collectors Club. Love the podcast. More loves. I found y'all through Adela Levine. I have a story for y'all. This is if y'all do the hick voice while reading this, just know I really do sound like that. LMAO. I mean, all right. I grew up in a small town in Louisiana right outside of Alexandria called Tioga. That's how you probably say it. I think I'm going to go back into my own voice. I grew up.
I was interested to see.
Should I
interested to see-
commit to the bit? I'll just go all the
No.
way?
Fair enough. It's good. You go with your gut.
All right. I grew up Pentecostal, which is pretty much a cult. My parents are scared of everything, like the devil is in the corner waiting to get us at all times. I was a freshman in high school, 14 years old, when one night I was laying in my bed sleeping when I got woken up by my sheets squeezing me so tight that I couldn't move, and I started screaming, but no sound would come out. That's horrifying. I could also see scary faces on my bedroom walls all around me. After what felt like an eternity, the sheets finally let me go, and I popped out my bed so fast and ran into my parents' room freaking out. My parents came into my room to pray over it, aka cast the devil out in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Brought in a pillowcase full of snakes.
When they walk in, they could see on my dresser that I previously checked out from the school library a Harry Potter book that day.
Shit.
Yeah.
You just got snaped.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Immediately, that was their answer, that I let the devil in my room through Harry Potter. I was scared for weeks and barely slept. I'll be 29 this summer, and all I can think is that if that was Hogwarts trying to take me, I'm fucking pissed that they left me. Thanks, Jesus.
Jesus slapped that owl down, knocked that letter out of that owl's mouth.
Dumbledore sitting there like, lost another to Jesus.
Jesus kicked that owl back to Hogwarts.
Jokes aside. Yeah, you go, Bryce. What? I can't see you guys.
That just goes to prove the more you try and squeeze, religion or Jesus into somebody, the more they become a BCC listener,
That is right. Jokes aside, since then, I've had a lot more crazy experiences like that. Because of these experiences, I left Christianity and really did some digging into a lot of things I was taught as a child. I'm thankful for these experiences. It allowed me to open my mind and free myself from the Pentecostal religion. So I believe everything happens for a reason. Lastly, just wanted to say, Michael, huge fan of yours since True Blood. 6 or so exclamation points. So glad I found this podcast. Love y'all, Callie.
Cool.
Boy, you really did run from the church if you're like into vampires and all this stuff now. That's good. Although a lot of people who watch True Blood are like, I know from back home, are big churchgoers too. So y'all got to work it out. You just got to figure your own shit out.
I'm sure you heard from them after a few episodes.
You were so good in that role.
Oh, Michael, I saw your show. You're one of them bad ministers.
I love that. That's the not being able to scream is
the sheets of the bed tightening. It's like a fucking Rob Zombie music video or something. That's horrifying.
Man.
Have you ever worried that like the sheets were just going to get yanked off your body really fast?
That'd be the worst.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a good trope for horror movies. That's a classic like Netflix horror series maneuver that happens to at least every character once.
Because you heard it from Bryson, like even he used the shields as like a protective force field. So
there's a power of the bed.
There's a power in the bedspread.
And like from childhood, like the danger that could potentially be under it, there's a weird power to being on it. Like you don't want to stand next to your bed because something's under it, but you don't mind being on your bed. So I remember being a kid when you're scared and you kind of run and like jump the last foot and a half onto your bed. Where you're like, I'm not gonna fucking walk. Like you just like you're like, I'm not scared. Like I know my dad just watched Unsolved Mysteries with his fucking 9-year-old kid till midnight, and I'm like, I'm not scared, and I just like walk in. He's like, all right, well, shut the light off and go to bed. Like hit the light on the wall and like run and leap into bed. Like sprint, leap, like full like high jump. Go.
You build yourself a little springboard, like one of those little gymnastic springboards
off a trundle bed.
Yeah,
land in a fucking full toe point.
I was always way more scared of what was in the closet than what was under the bed. The closet was really the thing, because just the idea of something like behind all the clothes, like you could go like this, and then see its face. But then the reverse of that was like I always wanted Narnia to show up back there, so I constantly was checking the back. Daytime closets are transports to Narnia. Nighttime they bring
portals
monsters
to hell.
Yeah, portals to hell.
Right.
You gotta keep your eyes on the clock if you're fucking around in the closet.
As soon as it hits 6:30 p.m.
Guys, let's sync our watches, boys. If we're going in the closet world, let's sync our watches.
Okay, Gabrus and Riley, you might be too young for this, but Bryce, we'll find out. Okay, what's scarier? Under the bed, closet, or sitting in front of your old TV and seeing the reflection of the room behind you when you're alone as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
When it's off.
That's
on the
pretty
old
fucked up.
glass, like old
Yep.
like I would always think I'd see something moving back. I mean, I get chills thinking about it right now.
Yeah,
I'm getting goosebumps. That I think was the thing that maybe scared me the most. Was like, is something going to show up there?
I don't know, dude. I had a basement that was pretty, like where the washer and dryer was, that was like pretty dark and musty and moldy. And there was always, that was a pretty fucking tough walk.
Me and my brother shared a room in our first house until I was like 13. So when we were like, from what my age was like 9 to 13 and his was like fucking 6 to 10, we shared this room in the attic. My dad finished half the attic and closed it off with just like a plywood, like the cheapest, lightest door from Home Depot that you would buy for like an indie wrestling match or whatever.
Right.
Like it just like pressed fucking wood dust. And it's like, I put that in between, and me and my brother we had a fucking like hook lock on it, like a latch, because we were so scared. But every once in a while the air would like shuffle the door a little bit. When a door can move even without ever even coming out of the lock.
Oh yeah.
And at one time at night, it was so scary, and we had to sleep next to the attic. There's something scary about it, and it kind of started to remind you that you were sleeping in the attic, and that made you kind of scary and shit. But one night the door just went like a little bit in the frame and moved, and me and my brother, my brother, who is to date still way in better shape and way faster than me, not saying much, but he blasts down the stairs, and he's 3 years younger than me, and he's like, "Run, John!" And I panic because I'm so slow, and I just leap down these stairs.
That's your
at
move.
like 11. Yeah, it's my move. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm 11 years old. I'm thinking the thing is whatever, and I don't know, the thing, the guy, the old witch, the murderer, the pedophile,
all
the
of the
whatever.
above.
Yeah, all the above rolled into one. Damn, Dracula. I just I picture that hand going for my back, and I just leap off, and it's like 12 stairs. I like blow my ankle out. I have to take like 3 days off of school because I get like limping.
Oh no!
My dad's like, "What the fuck is going?" Like that clearly woke him up. Was like his kids leaving.
Just a thud at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, the fuck is going on, Johnny? What the fuck is going on in here, Johnny?
You're like, maybe you should finish your construction projects, Dad.
Yeah. Why is the attic half finished? What do you mean we can't disturb the skeletons?
What are you hiding?
Oh man.
Don't you wish you had a video of that?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd
man.
be great.
It probably looks like that baby dinosaur, little Johnny Gabrus.
But for the record, even in like 6th grade, I was like 135 pounds. So it was never really a little chicken, always more of a fucking wild goose.
Christmas goose.
I thought about this before. You said cannabis and Bigfoot in the same sentence, and I thought like if you were drawing like one of those old Rebus puzzles, if you put cannabis plus Bigfoot, you could have my like headshot right next to it.
Amazing.
Weed Squatch.
Weed Squatch. The mighty Weed Squatch.
Yeah, the mighty Weed Squatch. Absolutely, dude.
What an honor.
I'm in all kinds of crypto.
We've been looking,
man.
We've been looking for you our whole lives. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to read more L Files. All right. And should we just come right back into it? All right. All right, we're back, and it's time. Did the Patreons get a cut there at all? They didn't get a cut, did they?
Well, now I have to edit if I'm gonna answer that question.
No, they get to see behind the scenes.
They get to know the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
The animatronic dinosaur that is BCC.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I think it's my turn. I've got a letter here called Disney Stories. I'm going to pull it up. I got a little lost in my document. Okay, hey guys. Have not been a long-time listener. My girlfriend got me to listen to you guys and heard of the L Files well, my friends and new coworkers seem to enjoy my stories. I was working as a graveyard park officer, and I think he's talking about at Disneyland, graveyard park officer.
Oh, wow.
So I would get land and patrol and make sure that no one was sleeping, etc. And being a very amateur paranormal investigator, I decided to bring some equipment and see if I could catch anything. I was with 2 other officers at the Star Tours attraction, one of my favorite rides, where there is 3 levels. One level is basically a hallway that gets much smaller and smaller, like in Willy Wonka. And at the end of this hallway, there is the phrase, Helter Skelter. It's not carved in the wall, and I can't explain it, but the park has tried to remove it a few times, and it keeps coming through the paint. So the workers at the attraction just cover it with posters and boxes.
What the fuck?
I love that there's like a travel to Naboo, and like behind that are the words, Helter Skelter. Piggies must die.
Yeah, seriously, what the fuck?
We then
It's
decided
a small world after all, isn't it? Yuppie scum.
We then decided to dare one another to touch the writing because we were all scared, and you could feel the energy change and temperature drop after we uncovered the writing. So I decided I would touch it. Another officer was right beside me, and I was 1 centimeter from making contact. Over my shoulder, in between me and the other officer, I heard what was one of the most scariest snarls / growls. As I turned around in fear, the officer had left me alone and was not willing to re-enter the room. That's fucked up. You hear like a dark beast growling at you at Disneyland. I had tried to convince him to go with me again, but his cultural background, which I won't mention, was preventing him from ever going back in that room. And prior to this, on the phone Spirit Box, one of those apps, we asked if it liked him by name. We named him, and we heard a voice say yes. From there, he refuses to work at that area of the park, but I was able to convince him to join me at other locations where the paranormal thrives. I won't mention our names, but if you're ever interested in hearing more, I'll be an open book. I have stories for days. Oh, man. And also,
I like how many of your listeners are like, and please, I've got plenty more.
Yeah.
And ask follow-ups. Allow me to dump these insane stories I've been stockpiling for my life on you guys. You'll say my name or not, depending on what I need. Perfect.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, send us more. Send us all the stories you have.
Yes. The ghosts of Disneyland, yes, send us those stories, please.
Side note, not where I go, the paranormal follows, apparently. I was also the guy that Adela shot into space in an astral projection class at the Mystic Museum. You covered that story, and I think it all has to do with having my third eye opened. Your loyal listener. And I'm not going to name the name because they said no names. I remember this story. He was like, taking a meditation class with Adela, and like they couldn't wake him up, and when he woke up he was like, I was in space, dude. Like he like but awesome. Disneyland's got a lot of stuff. We did a whole episode on the Patreon a while back about all the ghosts and hauntings at Disneyland, so check that out. There's some wild stuff, you don't want to think about it. People have died at Disneyland. People got
it's like, dude. You think it's like a battery because of all those children's imaginings and all that good child energy. And
I mean, it's definitely like, there's so much just energy and focus put on that point of, and I'm sure that there's some like, old Walt Disney Masonic, like mapping going on there where they're just like, the tip of like Cinderella's castle is just like an astral opens up an astral vortex,
there's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it.
There's one thing in this world we can be 100% certain of.
Oh, there is no doubt about that.
Not a single fucking doubt.
Firm.
Like Bryce is gonna do an episode about all the secret ciphers and hidden messages in the walls of Sleeping Beauty's castle.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know he was a 33rd degree Mason, and so that's what those Masons do at that level. They They build astral tunnels into castles. So,
dude, that shit has been built for long enough and was like so powerful that God knows what is behind. And like Walt himself's got a weird checkered history and got the amount of people who probably died during the building of Disneyland that was absolutely covered up is probably insane.
Truth.
Wall them up. Just wall them up in there.
I didn't see that in the Imagineering documentary on Disney Plus.
oh my God.
There is a basketball court inside the Matterhorn. That's pretty cool.
And it's full of bodies.
Yeah.
God.
And all the basketballs are severed heads. John, what do you got? What's your next story?
Cursed friend? ? Hey, BCC boys and guest. That person put it in themselves. Love the podcast. I'm a Canadian writer who loves sci-fi, and I'm currently writing a book about paranormal stuff in Japan. The good humoredness and light tone of the show are a big inspiration for my latest book.
Oh, cool.
So here's the sitch. The year is 2010, maybe early 2011. I was a 16-year-old nerd who was somehow lucky enough to rub elbows with a cute girl from the only other high school in my hometown. She was, and is, very sweet, but strangely, every time I saw her, I had a hard time recognizing her. One day I invited over to my house to watch a rented copy of the movie Insidious about demons and ghost hauntings and whatnot.
Romantic.
Smart. He's deals about the clothes. This girl and I had only gone on a date or two, so I was focusing more on nervous hand-holding than the movie itself. In the middle of the movie, she suddenly turns to me with a sideways smile and asks, "You don't believe in this stuff, do you?" I, trying to be tough, scoffed and said something like, "Of course not. It's all BS. Normally I'm not like this, so cut me some slack." Anyways, that date went well, but we eventually split up after a few more dates. It wasn't until months later that a mutual friend of ours asked me about what it was like dating her. I asked why, and they said the girl was a medium who could see ghosts, and her mother could even talk to them. Needless to say, I felt like a douchebag for laughing at ghosts to the girl's face.
Oh, no.
What's more, our mutual friend said is the girl I dated could see ghosts following some of my friends at times. Hovering behind our shoulders. Specifically, one of my friends, who suffered from some familial and sexual identity problems at the time, always had a ghost hovering over him. The only time it stopped following was when he went into his house. It would simply wait for him to leave the house again. Now, we'd all been at his house for occasional parties, but what the girl I dated may not have known was that my friend's father was a pastor. Oh, shit. If I ever saw the
ghost
girl...
couldn't get in there.
was afraid. It was a house of religion. He had it blessed. If I ever saw the girl again by chance in town, it always took me strangely long to recognize her face, something I have no problem with other people. It's almost 10 years since I've seen her, but I always regret not asking her more about the ghosts when we're close enough to talk about it. As for my friend with the ghost, he's doing much better and has come fully into who he is. Hopefully the ghost has moved on.
Oh, good. I'm glad I had a happy ending.
Yeah, that's awesome. Don't forget to look over your own shoulder. Matt Wardell. P.S. If I finish this paranormal book about Japan, I'd love to send you all my copies. My first book is a free sci-fi... am I giving this guy his plug for free here, I guess?
Sure, why
This is
not?
a Patreon, right?
Yeah,
my first book is a free sci-fi short story collection called Monolith at a link mattwardellwrites.wordpress.com. There's an audio book on YouTube for free. Thanks, fellas.
Well, there you go.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Write in and plug your books.
Yeah.
Glad the
For the
friends doing
Patreon,
okay.
if they're coughing up the cash monthly, they can throw a
Well,
plug in
this
there.
is good. The
Yeah.
videos on the Patreon, and then the listeners at home. You know what?
Oh, well then, delete. No, I'm just kidding. Matt, you're fine. All right, you know what? I just finished reading your stories, and I liked them, but now I'll never tell anyone. Out of spite.
Well, what's up? First of all, recurring theme of things like creeping over your shoulders tonight. Just
Check your
realizing.
webcam. Like, it's like there's something.
Dude, I was about to say that before when you said the reflection in the TV. Being on Zoom all the time for work has like activated that again. Like my dog will push the door open, who I can't see in my own frame. I just see the door open, and that's like it's just panic inducing, or like my wife will come in to grab something and know I'm in the middle of a meeting or something, so won't say anything. But when she comes in, it's still absolutely startling because it's like it's kind of a reverse mirror image. It's like such a weird way to like experience something. Woo! Spooky.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Spooky stuff. Yeah.
It's spooky stuff, man.
Just need to like zoom in like a little fort, like a pillow
Right,
fort
yeah.
that you build for yourself.
Well,
under
that's
the
even
blankets.
scarier because then you shut the camera down. There's just 25 people waiting outside the building.
Just all grouped around you.
There you are.
Ugh.
That ghost waiting for you at your door is a gnarly image.
Yeah, that's creepy.
That's
I
not
do
nice.
not like that. Yeah.
I don't like that. And also, like, I like that he was more heartbroken about not asking the girl more about ghosts and he was like blowing it with her. You know what I mean? Like, because clearly, I feel like his brushing off these ghosts is what led to them breaking up, obviously. I mean, that's in my mind. That's how I'm writing the story.
Yeah, he's gonna, like,
you never
tell
know
his
if you're
kid
dating a
someday.
medium. You got to be open-minded. Be open-minded, everybody.
Yes.
You got any regrets, Dad? Well, yeah, one. There was this one girl, the one who got away. Oh, were you in love with her? No, but she was a medium, and I feel like I missed out on a good opportunity for cool ghost stories. So take that advice with what you will, son. Thanks, Dad. All right, I'll go have fun at prom. Bye.
Hey, quick question, son. Do you recognize girls' faces that you've dated? Because something
It's
that
like
I
Teen
can't-
Wolf. He's like,
Yeah.
there's something I need to tell you, son. You're going to not recognize girls' faces, and it's going to be
There's gonna be
because-
one girl you date whose face you'll never be able to recognize.
Oh my god.
I don't think I've ever talked about this, but do you guys know that I have facial dysphagia? Like, I have a really hard time recognizing people's faces.
No.
No
My-
way, really?
Yeah, my mom has it too. And yeah, it's like embarrassing. It's bad. Like, people that I know, I will see, and if I don't have the context clues, like, I'll be like, I think I know that person, and it just makes me come off like a huge dick.
Whoa.
But yeah, that's like a weird. It's a really weird thing. So I've gotten really good at recognizing people's voices and also the way that people kind of walk and move and carry themselves. Like,
So when you see somebody doing this, you know it's
then I know
Bryce.
it's you. Yeah. Oh god.
I know a few people who have this too, and they say like this last year of a lot of Zooms with your names constantly on, and like that has been very helpful for them. Like you know, like it's like a nice treat to see.
Like face
Some-
and name. You're like,
Yeah, some
yeah.
of us have our name on our Zoom. Some of us don't.
I do.
I know. Well, you know, we can't pay for 2 Zoom accounts, you know, and I need to go past 40 minutes. So
I'm the type of
what
guy.
it is.
Don would always get mad at me because I'm the type of guy that's, if I see somebody, I have to attempt the name. I'm like, and she's just like, just say hi. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go for it. I'm like, Brady, what's up, man? It's Brian.
It's Bryson,
right.
you idiot.
Damn.
Bryson J Breedlove.
Well, it's good to see you, man.
How
She's
could
like,
you
why?
fucking
Professor
forget my
Bryson
name?
J Breedlove, and I have your family.
She's like, why can't you just say hi? Why can't you do it? I'm like, I gotta attempt it.
Honestly,
respect that. Yeah.
that's more noble than what I will often do, which is just like, hey, man, what's up? Cool dude.
That's all I
cool.
do.
What's
What's up, man?
Oh shit! I'm all the way on the other end of the spectrum than both of you guys. I mean, in this interaction specifically,
You just walk up to people and French kiss them?
No, I walk up to people and I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Bryce? Right? It's me, Gabrus. What's going on?" You're like, "Yeah, no, I know who you are." I'm like, "Oh yeah, but hi, I'm Jon Gabrus. Nice to meet you." Like, I'm introducing myself to people. Who are, like, my wife and I. Frequently, and this offends people, which I don't think it should. People are like, "We've met before," and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. How do you feel now that you've said that?
we've
do you
met.
feel like things are better or more
Yeah,
comfortable between the
this
two
is
of
going
us?
great now.
Is your intended result this? Because I'm gonna stop talking to you every time I interact with you going forward.
I was trying to do you a favor by giving you my name so you didn't have to be like Michael McMillan, who's so terrified of social interactions that the first time he meets someone, he doesn't listen when they tell them their name. He has to hear it 5 fucking times.
Right.
Hi, yes, hi. Just dropping your drink, appetizers and everything. Oh, sorry, hello,
hey, oh,
Mike. Yes,
oh,
Michael.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Oh boy. Well, that was a great story.
Anyways,
okay. Who's next? I believe I have Bryce being next.
Okay. Yeah, let's
for it.
jump right in. Here we go. Hi, BCC and guests. First of all, I just want to say how much I love the show. Each of you is pretty amazing and bring each of your own gifts to the table. You are a cohesive group of like-minded individuals, which is extremely refreshing in a world that struggles to fit together.
Wow.
I've always been in... That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You described our our robot formation, very giant robot formation.
Yeah,
We're
not bad
cohesive.
at all. I've always been in some sort of touch with the other side and have been told by others that I'm an empath. When I say always, I mean since birth. One day, when I was in my late 20s, I was hanging out with my cousin Margie and my mom. Margie was saying how her brother Johnny thought I didn't like him very much and she wanted to know why. And I said, I remember one night, I think I was about 5 or 6. I remember I was playing in my room and my mom called me to the living room to pick up my toys. When I went to the living room, I saw 2 grown-ups that I think were your parents. You and Johnny were with them, and your parents said that you were going to hang out with me for a few years. I was super excited.
For a few hours.
For a few hours, thank you.
Yeah.
A few years, I was
It
like,
doesn't.
Yeah.
It's
that
important.
took a weird turn.
Okay, back to bed. Good night.
All right, I was super excited. I picked up my toys and asked what you guys wanted to do. Johnny said he wanted to play hide and seek. I said yes.
No.
I remember that everywhere I hid that you guys could find me. I decided to hide in my closet. While I was hiding, I remember I was getting nervous, which made me have to go to the bathroom. So I started to open the door, and the door was pushed closed hard. And I heard Johnny say, "Ha! I found you!" And the closet door locked. Now, it should be said that the home we lived in was built in 1940 and had the type of closet doors that actually opened and closed complete with clear crystal doorknobs. I love those doorknobs. My closed door had a lock on it where the keyholes were painted over. My parents were renting this house and did not have any keys to the closets. I started pounding on the door telling him to let me out. I started having a full-on panic attack because I had to pee. I remember my mom saying to stay calm. I said Johnny locked me in there. I don't really remember what my mom said, but she was seeming frantic and frustrated, and then I finally heard her praying, and the door clicked open. Flash forward to me back again into my mom's living room. I said that I was still mad at Johnny about this because he scared me so bad. I literally peed my pants. I asked my mom if she remembered this. Her and her cousin exchanged glances. My cousin said she didn't remember this at all, and my mom responded with something that totally blew my mind. She said that how she remembered it is that I was playing with my imaginary friends, which I did often, and that at one point she heard me screaming and pounding from the closet, that she tried to open the door and she told me to stop holding the knob, and I told her that it was locked, to which she said that's impossible. And then she kept trying to open the door, and then I told her Johnny did it, and she was like, what the heck? And then she said it got really cold in the room, and she started praying until the door unlocked. Ooh, getting some goosebumps here. When I went back to think of that night after hearing what my mom said, I realized that what she filled in was all the blanks. Because when the people who I thought were my aunt and uncle talked to me, they did it without moving their mouths.
Jesus.
And that's when they left. They just sort of were there one minute and gone the next. Plus, after I was released from the closet, I didn't see my cousins anywhere. And when I asked where they went, my mom just said, "Oh, honey." So my question to you is, what the fuck was that? Sorry this was so long. Thanks for adding this to your collection and allowing weirdos like me to share our experiences. Sending love and positivity to each of you, Wendy. P.S. You guys should make a BCC comic book. The BCC Adventures, where you guys take well-known accounts of high strangeness and with your super sleuth skills, you seek out the truth. Not a bad idea. Thank you so much for that incredible letter and haunting.
And as always, the L file, any ideas pitched in the L files become property of Bigfoot Collectors Club.
LLC,
And you
baby.
are,
And Jon Gabrus.
Yeah. Co-executive producer.
Yeah. That was crazy. That's creepy, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
a
my
fucked up story.
That's so
That's
fucked up.
yeah, I don't like that.
you play hide and seek with ghosts. Well, I don't know. It's creepy.
I don't like that at all.
No,
Yeah,
there's nothing good about that story.
Again, I mean, we could do a whole new versus bracket, like attic versus basement, closet versus under the bed,
Dude.
pantry versus dumb waiter. What are the scariest, parts of the house? And I think the answer is all of them.
Yeah.
The whole house is just scary.
Oh my God.
Is there as a kid, is there a place in the house that doesn't scare you? I'm not sure there is.
And as you get older, you realize, it's just like your house doesn't scare you as much as the world does. Then.
House is the only place I want to be.
As your viewpoint grows bigger and bigger, just more and more stuff starts to scare you.
That's honestly a great point.
The house becomes the top of the bed, and the outside world and everything is the
Yes,
closet
exactly.
and the underneath.
Run the last few steps into your house. Yes.
That's now when you see Gabrus coming home from running errands, he just throws himself in the front door.
Right past that ghost, just waiting for you on the stoop, and just in you go. Yeah.
Just whip my bag of Topo Chicos against the wall of my fucking house, smashing glass everywhere.
Oh, well, all right. We got time for a couple more. Riley, why don't you read us the title of this next one? Because I think this is going to bother everybody.
Okay, here we go. My brain surgeon poked my pineal gland.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. All right. Hey, guys. I love you all so much. Let me preface this story by saying I had a stroke at 31. I'm now 34. I had to have part of my cerebellum removed, so my brain does not work like it used to. Wow, what a trip. I think that the surgeon might have poked my pineal gland during the surgery, and here's why. My dreams and reality are combined, and sometimes I cannot tell which is which.
Whoa.
That's wild. I never previously had sleep paralysis of any kind. I know most people see demons or scary things, but I don't. I end up trapped somewhere and I have to escape by doing some sort of task. One dream required me to purchase a specific item to get out of the mall.
Oh, no.
Hell no.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. Seek the hot topic.
Capitalism, man, it fucking invades nightmares now.
You have to find the one Funko Pop that looks like you out of a wall of Funko Pops at Hot Topic.
It's all booster dolls.
I could not wake up until I got out. My dream last night required me to type certain things into a computer program before a Godzilla attacked the cities.
Whoa.
These dreams aren't scary, but they are extremely frustrating because I know I'm asleep and need to wake up. Like other people with sleep paralysis, I can't move. I know this weird stuff is related to my brain surgery because it never happened before. I wake up sometimes thinking I'm holding things from the dream or thinking that my dreams were real. I have to ask my brother or sisters if they peeled a bunch of onions or something because my brain is convinced my dream was real. Thanks for being so cool. Elena in Kentucky.
What?
Whoa. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. That sounds so stressful to go through.
Yeah, that's a lot
the
to go
whole
through. Yeah.
stroke and surgery at such a young age, too.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I'm curious if this listener experiences any of this stuff while waking, like being awake, or if it's just not being able to recognize that you're in a dream when you're in a dream. You know what I mean? But
Good question.
the task thing is wild. Like, I've never heard of that before. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
having to
cool.
like, I gotta.
It sounds awful. I'm sorry, but
No,
that is cool.
it- but
At
it-
the same
it-
time,
I-
it's
It's
cool.
very surreal, yeah.
It is cool. I mean, it would make like great, like typing in a code before a Godzilla attacks a city is like that's a really great tense scene in a surreal action movie.
Wait,
you know?
sorry. This is now my movie idea, and as you know,
Belongs
the
to us.
L files, anything you send in is binding that it belongs to us. Okay, you read the fine print on the Patreon.
That's where it is. It's right there.
It's like
right there.
it's like really
You clicked accept.
It's like really poorly executed though. Gabrus is like in his movie. All right, so I gotta get put to sleep. That's the only way I'm gonna get the code to stop this lizard from attacking the city. Quick, get me a warm blanket and a glass of milk.
This movie's kind of long. He's just trying to fall asleep.
John goes to sleep to have a lizard attack the city, and then it's our listener's job to prevent his
find
attack
him.
from happening.
Nice,
Yeah.
well played.
Yeah.
You're the dream Godzilla. All right,
Man,
I got one.
The brain,
oh,
though,
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead.
That's just, I mean, the brain is like such a weird black box, right? And it's so interesting, like when people have these like, exceptional experiences where they have to have like a part removed or something, or address a tumor, and it's
learn a language or change a.
Right.
After one of my dad's first rounds of brain surgery, he became like activated all these like weird OCD, compulsive, and like obsessive behaviors that he had never demonstrated before, and he was like at this point like 56 or 57 and after this surgery, and that's like a minor version of the shit you hear about and read about and stuff like that. But like to me, knowing that, and then you hear like it believes like that like someone with a screwdriver in their head speaks German out of nowhere or something like that. Like I know that was maybe a little glib, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, but I think I've heard stories, and maybe they're not true, but of like, people having severe head trauma and then like being able to speak a different language, or like
it's called acquired savant. It's called acquired savant syndrome. And
there's that guy that hit his head in the pool and was a concert pianist like overnight.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It's wild stuff. Just I don't know. Just keep it all in my skull, please. I guess.
We've talked about this before, where people who have sort of mystical experiences, or even indigenous peoples on their ayahuasca journeys, they describe this other world as, and we've talked about it before, more real than the world I inhabit. So there seems to be this regulator guide, and whether it comes from the pineal or somewhere in the prefrontal cortex, it's like, I think she might be onto something, but it sounds to me like she's like caught in between those worlds, where the dream world is just as real, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the touches, as the waking world. And that it sounds like just a nightmare, but look, maybe it could be a gift at some point, and if you just sort of work through the trauma of it, maybe there might be something good that can come out of it, or at least certain experiences that you could get from it.
Maybe you can like take control, and I mean, maybe there's an opportunity for them to be like a really good lucid dreamer or something.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah.
Kind of a shamanic power,
Yeah, I say the empathetic side of me says I feel awful that you have to deal with this. The psychonautic part of me says like, I wish you would study yourself, or someone would study what's going on. Like that's cool. Like I'm intrigued. I don't want to sound like the freak scientist who's like, your pain actually intrigues me. But well, it is sort of the case.
In that same book on lucid dreaming, they ran experiments where people would become lucid and then they would meditate. So they would meditate inside of a dream and get to, and so it's almost like going
and get the biggest hard on they've ever achieved.
So
in their life.
It's like
golden.
It's like exploring the interior world of yourself that's inside the dream. So you could actually peel back another layer, which is just insane. So I mean,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
isn't
that a trip?
Crazy. Yeah, let's go for
very
it.
Cool.
Yeah, well,
I can barely meditate in real life. I can't wait to try it in my dreams. It's like, hey, Katy Perry's over here saying you're supposed to titty fuck her now, and it's like, hold on, I gotta meditate in my dream.
Mantra.
All right, last story of the night. This is, I think you guys are going to like this. Have your Google ready, everybody, okay? Local conspiracy theory, the Barksdale Bubble. Hello, Michael, Bryce, Riley, and insert fantastic guest, Jon Gabrus. It occurred to me that you guys might like to hear about a local military conspiracy theory in my area. I live in Shreveport, Louisiana. Across the river is the twin city of Bossier, the home of the Barksdale Air Force Base. Now, if you're listening to this, type in Barksdale Bubble and Google search some images for these radar images that we're going to talk about. Unless you're driving a car, you're just going to have to wait. When we have severe storms in the Shreveport, Bossier area, the worst of the weather tends to weaken and move away from the area around the base. There are radar images literally showing weather systems with a clear hole around the Shreveport-Bossier area. This has become known as the Barksdale Bubble. The theory is that the base has some sort of technology that manipulates the weather. I'm including screenshots of some of the strange radar images in Google searches. You will notice in the results that the bubble is famous enough to have a beer named for it at a local brewery. It also has its own Facebook page. While the bubble seems to, I feel like this bubble has achieved more than I have. You know what I mean? It has its own podcast, and it's got a development deal with 20th Century Fox. While the bubble seems to spare us the worst of thunderstorms, tornadoes, and inland hurricanes or tropical storms, there is debate on whether or not it works with winter weather. We very rarely get snow or ice in the deep south, but just 2 weeks ago we were slammed with the winter storm that hit a large part of the country. We all remember that. Maybe they turned off the bubble and let it happen to throw us off the trail? Emoji. Anyway, I would be interested to hear your take on this. We're expecting severe storms in the area tonight, and already it seems to be shifting north. Let's hope they turned the bubble back on. Thanks, guys. Tori. This stuff is cool. If you look at the images, it really looks like a donut. Mm-hmm. Now, I did a little bit more digging this afternoon into this. There's obviously all sorts of people think that, like, the base has a protective weather bubble, so, like, I think there used to be like nuclear arms there, so they're like, we can't let anything, no lightning or anything can hit this. This is like that they've got some sort of technology to protect what's in the base, right? But then there's another theory that somebody who worked at the base was like, oh no, it's not that. It's there's just a shit ton of concrete, and that the places where there's a shit ton of concrete, it will actually, and I don't know why, I'll have to look into this, but it'll push storms north or south of it if there's that much concentrated concrete, apparently. And then if you look at other radars over other bases or cities with like he said NASCAR racetracks, you'll see this phenomenon happen where weather just moves around these areas where there's like giant deposits of concrete. So I don't know what the science is behind that, but it is interesting.
Maybe
it makes
reflects
for
heat
great,
or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pressure zones or something like that.
I just want shit ton to be an actual unit of measurement. We have 7,500 shit tons here on the property, and people say it has been known to affect the weather.
Shit ton's one of my favorite.
Mine too.
Expressions.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But fan. I think the Barksdale Bubble, that's cool. If you guys have any, if you're listening, if you have any local weird stories like the Taos hum, that weird sound that nobody can figure out, like send it. We want to hear about that stuff for sure. Like give us your weird local.
The smaller
legends.
the town, the smaller the local, the more I want to hear it, because so many people are like, hey, we all had that blank kind of similar story about the town over, and I love to hear like the birth of those legends and stuff. Oh yeah,
this is why I love small town monster stories. So, like the little local monsters are typically my favorite. Jon Gabrus, thank you so much for joining us again here on Bigfoot Collectors Club. Where can people find you? Where can the Weed Squatch be found?
The Weed Squatch can be found in the PNW, man. In the woods, man. Just follow the smell of the fucking Chiba, man. I'm at Gabrus on all social media, and you can listen to my podcast, High and Mighty. If you're a fan of Bigfoot Collectors Club, which I'm assuming you're doing because you're listening to the plugs part of their podcast, you can check them out on my podcast, High and Mighty. Maybe that'll be a good way in for you for the kind of show I do, which is similar to theirs, but about different topics.
That was a very fun episode.
Great.
But I had a blast talking to you guys about it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. And follow us at Bigfoot Collectors Club on Instagram, Bigfoot Pod on Twitter. I'm at McMills on Instagram. Please follow me over there. Bryce, what do you want to plug for the folks?
Oh, yeah, you follow me on social. On Instagram, I'm at Mr. Bryce Johnson, and on Twitter at Bryce O. Johnson. Meet me there. Love to talk to you.
And don't forget to pick up this game that Bryce has invented.
Yes,
you
I've
guys.
invented a new party game. Draw a dirty picture, have your friends cover it up, get judged, win. It's called Dirty Picture Cover Up, or DPCU for short. Just go to our website, thedpcugame.com, and pick up yours today. It's a blast.
And there's
You'll love it.
links in the show notes. Great game. And over to you, my friend Riley.
I'm Peace Drone at Instagram. That's where I'm on the internet. And I mean, if you're listening to this far and you're not watching it, you could be a member of our Patreon and you would have seen this whole thing. There's all these funny little reactions and interactions. So we're doing more video stuff over there. We have a huge back catalog. I really think if you've gotten here and you're not watching this, you should just give it a shot. $5 a month. Join the Patreon. We're putting out really fun content all the time. So patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club. It's the parallel dimension to the Bigfoot Collectors Club universe.
That's right. All right. We are going to say goodnight to Jon Gabrus and the rest of you. Thanks again, Jon. Until next time, good night.
Good night.
And go get regressed.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Jon.
Oh, yeah, no worries, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray. Our theme song is Come Alone by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. If you like the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps get the podcast to more listeners. To support the show, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club and unlock multiple reward episodes every month.